Hey everyone, Chef here. Welcome back to Planet Zoo. Welcome back to Empirical Sahara, our arid African desert themed zoo. We are today going to knock out our little facsimile of the Nile River, and then I think we're gonna get stuck in on planning our arid Savannah Trails. I don't think it's gonna take that long to detail back here, hopefully, fingers crossed, and I'm also just excited about placing some new animals, opening a new section of the zoo. So, well, we have been gone. I've put in a little bit of curb work here. It's looking much nicer, much more organized. There's a couple places that I still want to finish. I might curb this up a little bit. But for the most part, I think the minor little off-screen detailing has kind of come together. So, a couple things we're going to work on. We're going to detail along here and along here. We're going to get this looking like something rather than just a naked riverbed. We're going to plop in a little bit of decoration here and here. We're going to finish out this little souvenir area slash bathroom. And then we're also going to add a bathroom to this food plaza and get a very simple building shell up. And then once we're done with that, this is the section of the zoo that we're going to be working on next. So let's not waste too much time. Let's get started. And the way I think we're going to move through this very quickly is we're just going to build a couple small bits of scenery. We're obviously going to use random rotation for this. And we're just going to copy and paste it. So give me a little something like that. Maybe change the height on this a little bit. Give me a little bit of nitraria around the base. A little bit of like that. This. I want it to have a little bit of like flowers coming out of it as well. So give me an African violet. I thought African violets were a thing. Are they not? What's the... Oh, King Protea. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, give me some large King Proteas. Maybe not that large. Maybe not that large. No, maybe that large. Maybe that large, but just kind of sunk down a bit. Something like that. And then this is going to be a buffalo grass kind of deal because I want the density. So a little bit of this, a little bit of this. A little bit of this around the back. Probably should have built this on flat ground, I'm realizing, but, you know, we can make a few adjustments and it'll be fine. So we'll take all of this, we'll group it, and then we're just going to duplicate it, and we're going to plaster it all along this riverbank. We'll take some time to line the height up, give it a bit of a spin so it looks like the reeds are in the water and the grass isn't. We don't need this to line up, you know, exactly. Oh, it's definitely... Yeah, we should have built this on level ground. That's okay. We can make a couple small adjustments. This grass can come down a bit. These flowers can come up a bit. That's the bush. That can come up a bit too then. Something like that. Duplicate you again. I don't want to make it... See, I don't want like this much. That's way too much growth. I think we want something like this. And then we can fill in the gaps later. Kind of like we did with the wall leading into this section of the zoo. Into the Horn of Africa. We'll get a little bit of places where they're kind of close together, and we'll just sink everything else under the ground here. So it looks a little different. Pull you up to about here, give you a little bit of a spin. That looks mostly lined up with the ground. And then same thing here, and then also like same thing here. It's okay to have a couple spots that look a little overgrown. You can also just go. We don't actually need that anymore. And then I can also just take all of you now. Turn you into a group. And duplicate you and move you around a bit. Manually placing everything for this section of the zoo, I just don't think is feasible. So we'll take this approach instead, and it should make things come together fairly quickly. So let's hop into group edit here. We're going to have to pull some of these grasses down. Pull that nitraria down. Probably pull that one down as well. To right about there, that reed is way too high. You need to come down. That King Protea is also probably a little high. Everything else looks pretty sane as long as you don't look underwater. Yeah, I can live with that. And then for these gaps in the middle, we're going to have a bit of rock work. So give me my filters. We'll go to desert rocks, sort by price descending. I already know what rock I want. It is this flat boy right here. We're going to get you real low, so you're basically at water level. And then we're just going to terrace you up by like 2 or 3 steps. So a little something like that, and then we'll move you in, and we'll move you up. Give you one of these and one of these. And then we'll do one more terrace way in the back. It's going to look a bit like that. I couldn't ask for more. I think that looks wonderful so far. Come back here, give me some green grass for variety. Just use it to cover up this edge. And then a little bit over here as well. And then maybe 1 or 2 bigger trees. Take me to Africa as a continent. Is this this could be a date palm kind of situation. We can afford to put some big trees back here because the scale of this place is, you know. Okay, a doom palm is a little too big. What were you? You're a date palm? Can I have like a medium-sized date palm? Yeah, that's perfect. Let's move you over a little bit. And then I want something I can put in the middle there that has a bit of volume to it. Wow, dragon's blood trees are huge. We'll save you for later, for sure. Does this look like a thing? Yeah, it kind of looks like a thing. Sure. It just looks like generic foliage. You'd never know that they're trees unless you know a lot about, like, Planet Zoo props. So that's the basic structure we're going to take along here. We're just going to do some iterative copy-pasted designs all the way along this, and then we're going to use a lot of short plants in the front so that it's kind of foregrounded a bit. Let's maybe turn you into your own group so that I can grab you later on. And just move you around a bit. You're a useful collection of rocks. There's no real reason to redo all of our work on you. We'll stick one like right here so it butts up against those reeds. And then maybe just slide you over and up a little, down a little bit. That's pretty good. Doesn't look very copied and pasted. We'll have one of you over here. We can sink it down even lower so it implies a bit more variety. Take me over to Drin grass. We'll use Drin grass up here at the top to mask this edge. And then maybe just get a little involved in here as well. Take me back to some large trees. A little bit of Sudanese frankincense wouldn't go amiss. And then let's make sure we're sticking with date palms as well, just to keep the theming appropriate for the background here. And then give me another big dragon's blood tree. I love just using dragon's blood like this for foliage. Who would have thought? And then we'll leave a gap here. I'm going to put a giant nitraria in there. The largest nitraria you've got. Just to give it a little bit of variety. This is looking nice. It's maybe a little greener than I want it to be. It's starting to look like a tropical riverbank almost. So let's see if we can thin some places out. Let's just go for normal reed. Right, that's not going to be a desert plant. We'll just grab some normal reed. We'll make it nice and short. And then we'll make you a little taller on the other side. And then give me just nitraria. No flowers this time. And give me some nitraria interspersed in the middle of this. And then maybe one or two big pieces of buffalo grass in the middle, just to fill it out a bit volume-wise. Like one here, just so there's a hint of something going on in the middle. Grab you, make you a group. And then we'll duplicate you along a little bit. This one we should be able to rotate pretty easily. It looks the same from most directions. So we'll bring you along here. Let's save this corner for something that's a bit more of a centerpiece. And then we'll keep dragging you along this way. And then maybe like two more of them. We definitely want this corner to look like something impressive, so we'll probably custom build that. How about we just push you into the riverbank a bit here? This, I think we could have like a big rock terrace, because there's a bit of a dune there. And then maybe one like around here. Raise you up a little bit so you look a bit more varied. And then how about like over here as well? I think that's about as far as we're going to take the riverbank for this time. And as we proceed into the arid Savannah Trails, we'll continue decorating it along. Let's grab our jumble of rocks. I think we'll have a nice jumble here. And then we'll have a nice jumble here, and maybe we'll do something a little more custom in the middle. This, we're going to have a much steeper terrace. In this corner, we're going to custom build. Maybe we'll do like a big rock outcrop over here. Something like that. And then you'll come along this way. Can leave that space open for some plants. Swing you in here, and then we'll swing you back out this way. Sure. I'm liking that so far. And then to make sure we've got a little bit of variety still, give me this thing. And we're going to pick a few places that stay more verdant. Like maybe over here. Yeah, it's a little high. Let's bring you down a bit. Bring you around a little bit. Sure, but I don't like these king protea in the water. And I definitely don't like this grass in the water. So let's get those out of there. And then let's salvage these king protea. You can come right in along here on the riverbank. That grass is basically underwater. We can get rid of it. That nitraria is basically underwater. We can get rid of that. Satisfied with that. That looks fine. I would like to make a big rock behind this thing. Take me back to my desert rocks, please. So we'll grab, like, one of you guys. We're just going to swing these around the back. We'll go high, medium, and then high again. And then behind that, we'll have a few that go higher still. On the edges, and in the middle, we'll use some different shapes. This is like there's a rock bluff here, and that's what made the river do this little elbow bend that it's got at this point. I might come back and clean the back of that up off screen. Or, you know, off recording, basically. So you need to go. You're a little in the way. We could stick you, like, flanking one of the sides instead. I like that. And then can I grab you and move you over here? Just because you'll look like a natural extension of that rock. And then also, can I get you over here? You're going to bury that King Protea, but that's fine. And then just back the palm tree up a little bit. Yeah, so it's just like a little rock escarpment there. Now over here, we're going to need a small bit of foliage. And I have a small bit of foliage saved, fortunately. This one I want to have a little bit of a flower arrangement to it, so we'll grab the one that has the King Protea in it. You can go here, and then you can go here. And then in that little spot, because you can kind of see through it, give me a bunch of buffalo grass. And then on the sides, give me some green grass. And over here, give me some green grass as well. It's looking pretty thin along the spot where the nitraria is. Something like that. Okay. Here, we're going to have a bit of a steeper rock wall. Take me back into biome, desert. Give me a nice flat boy. Take it right down to water level to set up where your base is going to be. I don't want too many sharp corners in a row, so let's grab a flatter piece of it there. I also don't want it to come too far out into the river. So a little something like that. And then let's grab one of the bigger ones. We're just going to extend this. Mostly hugging where the rock is underneath them, and it's okay if you overshoot it a little bit. let's continue on our merry way here. And then here, we're going to start varying the height a bit. So give me a tall rock. Bring it down a little lower. Bring him up a little bit. Give me a couple of these guys, because they're kind of similar. We'll push this all the way into the back, and it'll look like there's a little bit of unevenness in where the plateau formed. You come along here, and then down here. And then we'll go back to the larger one. And then we'll do one more layer on the back out of the flat one. And we'll just barely have it poke through. So like here. Excuse me, fine. Like here, and then maybe a little bit of this. And then some of this and this. And then to mask the join at the top, and also along these sides, that's an obvious Nitraria problem. So we'll get some up here. And then we'll get some up here. Along here. I'll leave the rock face barren in a few places. And then I'll also come through and put some drain grass in a few places, just so it doesn't look like all Nitraria. But I like the idea that there's a spot along this river that was just too craggy for the river to flow normally, and that's kind of why it swings out a bit. I think that's a neat implication. So a little bit of that, and then let's grab our Drin. Still sticking with green here because this isn't like arid. And we'll leave a few of these spots as just barren sand. And then we'll swing you back around this way. And now, man, when you're at Caracal Ravine, you've got this wonderful view of the Caracals, you turn around, you've got this beautiful like rock facade. I would love to flank that with maybe 3 big trees. Give me a date palm 1 here. Give me a date palm 1 up here. And then give me a Sudanese frankincense. Go over here. Maybe a little bit of dragon's blood as foliage up. Ooh, when you kind of hide it in the rock, it looks really cool. Oh, that's neat. Like, it's just a suggestion of greenery. I can't believe that I just now figured out that you could use a dragon's blood tree like this. It looks so good. In my opinion, anyway. Maybe you're watching this, you're like, God, It looks so bad. Why is he doing it that way? I think it's neat. So you've got this nice vista. You've got a good vista over here. This is a little naked. And I might fill it... I just fill it with dragon's blood trees, man, honestly. Well, let's see. I don't want everything to be green. Like, we don't need to paint this entire section of the zoo full green. Because it is a desert zoo at the end of the day. So maybe we'll do a little bit of, like, novel rock work. Like, what if we just have a couple smaller rocks that are just barely poking through the soil? Like, let's do this. And then if I multi-select you and I turn you into a group and then I duplicate you, I just give you a spin. Maybe even continue you into the water a bit. That starts to look like something. I can live with that. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Not everything has to be scenery. The absence of scenery is also scenery in and of itself. That said, give me like 30% rock. And then give me fine sand back up here. And then give me smaller rock along here, and then maybe mix it in with like some light soil. This definitely give me rock. Mix it in with soil a bit in the back. Also, maybe get the riverbanks looking a little soily. No, that looks too dry. Maybe something like that. I can sort of live with that. I think that's looking pretty okay for a riverbank, you know? So then along the front, I mean, first of all, this, I've never seen a more obvious reed stand in my life. Reed. Or common reed strip, rather. Like, you know this has got to just be reed strip. Also, do not random rotate this. And then give me, like, common reed stand. I don't think common reed stand is going to be right here. It needs to be something shorter. What's shorter than common reed stand? What about a tiny dragon's blood tree? I guess it's you. It looks okay up front, or up close. It definitely looks better from further away. Also, you can go back to random rotating. This is workable for now, especially because it's going to do a great job at hiding this weird ridge. Because of the terrain manipulation we had to do to get this river to work. But let's not go too crazy with it. He says as he goes crazy with it. And then here, this is back to reed. Common reed strip, 4 meters, no random rotation. And then buffalo grass in front of it. Get it like almost at water level, and then you can push it back a bit and raise it slightly. Give it like a terraced look to it almost. Also random rotate. You can see the copy paste coming through. Something like that. This will have, like, be some kind of decoration, probably, so I'm not stressing that too much. Give me this small collection of rocks. We're going to use you in a couple places on the near bank. But here we're going to line the top rock up with the path, basically. And not worry about what amount of it is underwater. Get it a little bit away from the path. Here you can be a little taller, because again, we want to hide this landscaping lump. You can come up to about there. Over here, you can also stay pretty high up. Something like that, maybe. And then in here, a bunch of drain grass. Maybe 1 or 2 nitraria at the crest of the hill, but small ones. Like the flowering ones might actually look nice there. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of flowering, actually, take me into actual gardening. Show me Desert Africa. We could get a little bit of like King Protean aloe vera in here. Yeah, dude. Over here, we'll have this be a bit of buffalo grass for the sake of variety. And then maybe one kind of centerpiece plant there. A little quiver tree on the near side of the bank wouldn't be too bad. And then maybe a few century... No, century plants are like, they want to be somewhere dry, I feel like. Yeah, maybe nothing. Maybe just that tree is fine. Flowering nitraria. Green grass for variety. And then like a tiny rock. Take up some of the empty space. Okay. I really like how this is coming together so far. I know that we're not done yet, but that sightline I got really excited by. Salt cedar I still feel like is too colorful. Give me a bigger nitraria. Make this look kind of scrubby. Give me some drin grass. Give me a rock. Give me like a standing stone. Yeah, just like one tall guy. For no reason. Keep it mixed up. This needs a little bit of fill. I think buffalo grass is probably going to be the best there. Yeah, that's looking better. We'll swing around here. This I'm tempted to just leave open. That seems like a good opportunity for negative space. Is that floating? It is floating. Bring it down a little bit. We need a more three-dimensional plant here. We need a nitraria. We need it to occupy the space inside the hill. Same thing here. That's actually a really substantial hill. Give me a big nitraria. And then give me Drin. But I'm actually gonna... It looks so weird if I tilt it. Maybe Drin is just better because it's a taller grass. So it does a better job of being three-dimensional in spaces like this. Something like that. And then this, rather than having it being like a grass hybrid, just make it all sand. And then make this a little bit of light soil. Make this a little bit of heavy soil. Make this a little bit of heavy soil. And then give me a really small brush and a really high intensity. And we can just make this look like a little beach. Actually, do I have any good aquatic plants? Biome aquatic. Do I have any stuff that'll float on the water? Where the heck is a blue lotus from? Where the heck is a common... Hold on, I gotta tab out quick. I gotta find out where common water... Well, no, I can do aquatic Africa. Never mind. Aquatic Africa. There we go. Okay, so we are allowed to use a blue lotus plant. And also these, we can do align to water surface. Yeah, align to water. So we'll do like some blue lotus here. The blue lotus over here. What the heck is papyrus sedge? Oh, crap. Dude, we gotta be using this stuff. Oh, this looks so good. I can't believe I didn't know this was here. Yeah, get that in anywhere. Oh, man. Because, like, it's tall, but it's also thin enough that it doesn't block the view. Yeah, get like some papyrus sedge in over here. Shift you around to like here. You do lower the height a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, what else is in aquatic that I just didn't know about? Underwater hydrilla. Nah, that looks a little too green. Common reeds we knew about. Eelgrass we know about. River bush wallow, it's too green. Underwater hydrilla, nah. River bush, yeah, okay. So it's basically like just the usual suspects. Plus these blue lotuses, which do look really nice. Made a blue lotus 1. Blue lotus. Yeah, just a couple small guys. aligned water. And then papyrus. You're coming with me. I'm gonna have you grow out of these dragon's blood trees. We're inventing a new plant. This is back to being relatively flat, so take me to my buffalo grass large just for a bit of fill. Get it about level with the curb. And then just smear it through here. Any spots that are too high, we'll take care of with either drin grass or nitraria. This seems like a nice spot for a little bit of rock. Grab this, sink it to... Well, if you sink it to under the path, then it's also going to be under the water. So move it out a little bit. Give it a little spin. You want it to hang like right here. Maybe a little higher. And then to fill in the sides with something a little taller, grab your drin grass. To fill in these little bald patches, grab your nitraria. You've got room for like one, maybe like a small frankincense tree here. In that little bit of a clearing. And then just grab some more drin grass and keep it going along here. Mix it up with some buffalo grass. Because I do like the way the buffalo grass looks either up to the water or completely below the water. That's very lush. Okay, this is coming along great so far. Very pleased. Let's... I don't want to reuse any of these. So this is a very thin stretch of land that fortunately is not super elevated. I'm not exactly sure how I want to handle that yet. Let's do it. Let's do the corner. Let's see if the corner is easier to put together. Whatever goes in that stretch in front of the Caracal Ravine, I need to be very low to the ground and very thin, because I don't want it to obstruct the view. Maybe get a little papyrus sedge in here too. I guess we could just do buffalo grass. This kind of like patchy, half buried in the dirt buffalo grass doesn't look that bad. I don't think so anyway. Gives it a lot of like natural looking variation. Oh, and then, you know what? Take me down to medium buffalo grass and then raise it up a bit. And then run this along the top. And that's how you can kind of layer it. I think this is the approach that we're going to use in front of the Caracal Ravine. Just play around with the height a little bit to keep it looking a little splotchy. Yeah, I dig that. I think that looks pretty good. It's a pain to place manually, but you can do it. So I think because of how narrow this is, we need one more thing here. I need another rock terrace here, otherwise it's going to be the buffalo grass all the way down. So let's grab you. Sink you into the earth. Give you a bit of a spin. Situate you right here, and then we'll do a second one. That goes even lower. Maybe get a few more of the dragon's blood X papyrus sedge here. Because we're not quite in front of that vista yet. Grab a couple pieces of nitraria. Carry them along here too. See if you can find a way for them to fit in nicely. That's not so bad. And then here to here is all going to be buffalo grass. Well, actually, grab your papyrus sedge one more time. Not you. You. My other dragon's blood tree, please, and then not you. Yeah. So we just want to mark out the end of this vista, basically. So the end of this vista is where the other dragon's blood tree plus papyrus sedge is. Something like that. And then this can be something else. It can be like rockwork. So this is the specific strip of land where we want to put together just splotchy buffalo grass. Let's get to work. Get your height right. Something like that. And then just start carrying it along. We're matching heights against one edge of the grass, and then we'll come through with the medium size later on. And we'll fill in some of the gaps. We may need to go to medium starting like there. It's starting to get a little too big. And then here, I want another one of those rocks. Where's the rock that I made that I liked? You? You'll do. You can come over here and you can just fill in this little awkward area. And then over here, we grab our medium grass again. Match height against the front edge of this land. It's a little too high. There. So it's a little sparse, but that's okay because we want this to be the actual, like, attraction when you're looking at this section of the zoo. And then over here, let's give me another bit of rock. Reuse the same shape that we've used 100 times already. But with a little bit of a spin and a little bit of elevation change, nobody's any the wiser. Fill in some nitraria here, and then grab some drin grass. Fill in some drin grass through here. So that is the river. I will, off camera, probably extend it back here so that if you're standing at the riverbank rest and you're admiring the river, it doesn't look naked in the back. This is fairly well hidden, so we don't have to worry about decorating the river from here. And I don't think there's any other sightline that lets you see back there, honestly. It's really just from here. So the cutoff, I'll go put a tree there so I can remind myself later. Give me like a giant pine tree. Because then I'll be like, what the hell is this doing here? Oh yeah, it's marking my sightline. So right to this point is about how far I need to run the riverbank down this stretch. But no one's ever going to see that. So I will do that off camera. That'll be something I do in my own time, because there's like a tiny gap there. Okay, you need to move. Yeah, you need to move a little further. You need to go to like here. You don't need to watch that. It's going to be very tedious, and the payoff is going to be extraordinarily low. I think about doing something back here, though. I don't know what. So, that is one task down. Next thing I want to do, finish up everything in front of Carrico Ravine. And that is going to start with an extra souvenir shop here. Now, I was doing a little bit of upkeep before I started recording, and I realized that we haven't actually been doing any mechanics research. I'm not going to research another theme for this zoo. I think we'll have that be something that's like one per zoo. You know, we might do an Australia theme, and then working on that research as the zoo starts will give us like something interesting to look forward to. But I do want to start working on souvenir shops. I would like to have an extra souvenir shop that goes here. And specifically, I want to see if I can fit in 3 of them. So select this group, enter group edit. I can. So I'm going to have a Looney Bloons here. And then in the middle, we'll have a 3rd souvenir shop, whatever that ends up being. Take me into staff work zones. This is Horn of Africa guest services. Go ahead and add that store to it. Do I need to adjust anything in terms of the prices for things we sell? No, that should be a-okay. And then I need to build a shop shell. At least this whole thing is on the grid, so it shouldn't be that bad. I swear, like shop building, it's any building, like a physical construction building is just like, it's pulling teeth for me. I don't feel like I'm very good at it at all. And worse, I don't think it's that fun. But it's important for making this part of the zoo look good. So we'll do it. You're going to come along here, and then you're already there. That's great. We're going to have arches here to go into the bathrooms. We're going to have shop fronts. Do you want this whole building to be stone? Because that's not the design aesthetic you use anywhere else except for the donkey building. You use plaster here, you use plaster there, mud. You're using mud there. Everything is mud back here. I think we'll leave this in place. And then can I get position snap and position snap rotation and random rotation off and don't align to water. And angle snap. I really don't want to build my own bespoke shop fronts. It's going to take way too long. This whole building is going to have to be breeze block. We'll find a way to make it look nice. Which means that this, and you, and you, and you, and you can all go and get replaced with the 4-meter breeze block. And then we're gonna save. But we also want to remember that this is going to be a shop front eventually. No, it should be like a particle board. Wood. There's a wood, man, that's just like a sheet of particle board. Because I want it to look like it's boarded up and under construction. Where is it? This isn't, it's a wall decoration. So you can just go to wall decorations, because that's where you know it's going to be. Maybe not. When I find you, it might be called like board or something. Board? Blank? No. Go to all. Board? Blank. Wood. You're not gonna find it. Just do something else. Sticks? No, it doesn't look right though. It doesn't look right. It looks too nice. I want this to look boarded up. Decorative strip is not it either. Okay, you know it's in the core game. I will give you 2 more minutes on this. Planet Zoo. You know that it's a core game piece. So go to core game, turn everything on. You can disable grid props, because it's not grid. And that should narrow this down pretty substantially. It's not decorations, it's not souvenir bags, it's not any of those things. If it's actually in like the conservation pack, I'm going to be really sad. Because there's a lot of really nice props in the conservation pack. What are you? Animal doors? No, that's not right. It's not mesh. It's not letters. Okay, it doesn't exist. I made it up apparently. In that case, we will use corrugated steel. Corrugated sheets, sorry. This gives the same vibe as this thing is under construction. So we can use that just fine. Okay. Now, fortunately, because we built everything on the grid, we can make a very nice gridded roof. So that's a good saving grace. How exactly do you want it to look? Good question. Go to roofs. We want a double pitch to go here. I think you want a 1 meter double pitch to go here. And then a 1 meter. Yeah, but see, then is it because it's 2 meter? Is the 1 meter double pitch actually 2 meters on each side? Yes. But 2 meters is going to be really steep. So I don't think that's the way you want to go. Also, you probably want to do this with plastic and not asphalt. That's not right either. How about just a flat roof? Flat roof, and then you can go 1 meter all the way along here. Yeah? Yeah, it is good enough. And then ridge on top goes about here, here, and here. Give me wood walls. Log wall slope. I need grid height here, please. I'd like you to actually agree with what the grid is doing. That looks pretty bad, and also it's not actually lined up with the grid. It's like slightly off of the grid. Does that change your mind about it? Yes, that's much better. So you go in there. You go in here. You need to get moved ever so slightly back, which means splitting you from the group so we can advance to move you. And just bump you back so that you're not clipping through the wood anymore. Same thing with you over here. Split you from your group, advance to move you back a little bit. And I might do the same thing with these roof pieces. Move you to about here so that you line up with the roof trim. And then this I can mask with like some other trim. And then do the same thing here. Split. Advanced move, slide it back just a little bit. So that it lines up with the roof trim. And then you don't line up over here anymore. Honestly, that's fine. It's not a huge deal. So we're gonna need some wood beams. Ooh, you know what? Sunshades are big and chunky. They could be fun to use on this building. Let's move you to about here. So you come out like halfway. I think this is going to make a really nice building. Especially because we can change the colors on it. We'll have you sit like right there. We should be... Oh, you're going to throw a fit, aren't you? It's because we rotated you to put you on the building. Also, you don't line up exactly. Well, what if we take you? Do you line up with yourself? You line up with yourself. Okay, we'll just do a bit of DIY then. We'll make a build your own support pillar. And then because this one's never been rotated, it might be more agreeable. No, incorrect. Well, maybe. Hold on. What if we go out to main menu and then back? No. Extremely unagreeable. That's too bad. So we can grab you and move you here. These stripes are not going to line up exactly. But we're going to have to live with that. It's not actually that noticeable. That looks pretty good. Are you willing to cooperate? No. Yeah, just never try. Never have ambition. You shouldn't do it that way. You should do it this way to make sure the stripe lines up. So you're going to go in the middle. And then you're going to have one that goes on top. And then you're going to go down. So far, so good. And then you're going to have one more that comes all the way out to this corner. About that far, I would say. Here, 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 and here. Okay. Let's make all of these... Are they all in a group, actually? They are. That's beautiful. What color do I want the stripe to be? Red's a little aggressive. I like the idea of having it be like a greenish blue, because it's over by the river. Maybe something like that to start. I'm willing to try to love one more time. No. Alright, let's get some awnings in. Awnings and fascias. I really like the way this guy looks. He's cool. So we'll put you here. We'll put you here and raise you up just a little bit, and then we'll put you here. Those are cool guys. Can I change your color as well? No. The color of the wood is not changeable, unfortunately. Very sad. But cool awning. And then we'll want some signs on the side of this building. Do I even have, like, Looney Balloons signs? Looney... No. Okay, so we can't really advertise for souvenirs with signs the way that we did in some other parts of the zoo. That could be interesting, but I'm not going to do it right now. We need to keep working on the rest of the support pillars for this. Slide you down here. To here. And then just keep you moving down. This back here will probably turn into a garden, and I'll also curb this now that I know exactly where it is. You're gonna come to about here. We want it to be in like the halfway point. Here, 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 and here. And then we're going to swing you all the way over the bathrooms. That is about halfway. Bring you to the middle here. And then last one. You're going to go about there. Lovely. So, last step, we just need to hide all of this ugly trim. And that we're going to do with just like a normal painted beam. That's not going to be anything too sophisticated. Can I get a thinner beam than that? Round beam. I didn't realize the beams were that thick. A thin beam's not going to be good enough. It actually has to be a thick painted beam. Okay, fair enough. You're going to come down to here. And you're just going to sit here. Boom. And boom. Paint you. Give you like a nice natural shade of wood. A little lighter than that, maybe. Need the color wheel. Yeah, that'll do. I'm pleased that you are lined up. That saves me a lot of work. You're going to go to here. Rotate you by 90. You're going to go to here. And then you're going to come over here. Make all of this ugly trim go away. Come over onto this side. That's no longer lined up. No, it's lined up. This pillar just doesn't come out far enough. Oh, that's annoying. So rather than changing that pillar, we're just going to push this in. To like there. Don't tell anybody that those pillars aren't aligned. And then last step, duplicate this. Slide at 90. Bring it straight across here. Then I need to turn angle snap off for this, because roofs don't exist at standard 15% angles for some reason. That looks pretty good. So we take that, we take this, and then we take that. And then we grab you, duplicate you. This we rotate 90. And then we slide you into place over here. And then this we grab all of these three. We duplicate you. And we slide you over here. And then you, we grab here. We slide you over here. And that, I mean, this looks pretty rough. This wall still looks pretty bad. But the rest of this, honestly, it's not horrible. Considering how much I don't like building shops, that's not a horrible shop frame. I can live with that. We need to do a little bit of scenery around it. We should get something on that wall. I don't know what. We'll come back to that. We're already at an hour and 14, and I still want to plan another section of the zoo today. We're going to have to come back to it. So these guys, these are just going to be little gardens. Let's go ahead and get them looking a little more soil-like. They're going to have some centerpiece trees in each one, but I don't want to block the view from this path. So let's go desert. Let's go Africa. Show me an interesting tree that's kind of short. We're already using date palms over there. I don't want to use them again. Coconut palm, too big. Coconut palm, too weird at the bottom. I think I could go with like quiver tree too. I think Quiver Tree 2 is a pretty good compromise. So you go in here. We don't need angle snap anymore. We don't need position snap or rotation. But I do want to randomly rotate these. So we're going to put one in each corner. You should also probably let the zoo run a bit. Otherwise, you're going to need to play this entire year. So we'll do 4, 5, 6, and then over in this corner, we'll do 7. And then let's go check our vet research. We're going to get through a lot of research today, which is very nice, because we're not adding any animals, and we have a lot of researchers on the job on this stuff. Now, for this area, I don't want to do anything like a rock centerpiece. For here, I want Caracal Ravine to be visible. I think it might end up being buffalo grass. Let's bury it a little bit. And then we'll add some nitraria in to give it a bit more volume. But I want these gardens to be like very low to the ground. We'll leave a little space in the middle to do something with. So we bring you down through here. We bring you along through here. Oh, that's not the direction I want to take you. Here, and then one here, and then we'll just kind of fill in the middle a little bit. We'll leave some patches for either foliage or rocks to go. It's okay for it to look a little splotchy. Come into nature. Give me rocks. Give me desert rocks. Are you going to be too big? You are way too big. You going to be too big? No, you're actually going to be perfect. And give it a little more height than that. And then grab this guy. Duplicate him, rotate him. Stick him in here, and then stick another one over like here. You're looking pretty samey, actually. Do I have another rock that I could grab? You don't. You're going to have to build another bespoke rock. Red Fox to 2. What did we get out of that? We got a new toy enrichment? Did you guys get any new toys in here? Are you excited about anything new? No, none of this is new. Alright, let's build a second bespoke rock. Actually, let's not. Let's just use this thing. He works great. And then we'll go for Nitraria. Give me a couple big Nitraria in here. Give me an even bigger Nitraria. One here. One over here. Give me a smaller Nitraria. Moving over here. And I think that's just fine. These don't have to be anything super fancy. They've just got to be a little bit of fill that makes this place look a little manicured, a little organic. This definitely needs fill. I do not like how naked this looks right now, but we can take care of that later. Vet research done. Dude, as soon as you unpause the zoo, so much happens. This place is really getting big. We've done a thing. We had no crime. Sure. All right, and then we need to do this food court, which currently has almost nobody working in it. That, hold on, are these part of a work group? They are. Is my staff room full? No. Dude, we need more vendors in the Horn of Africa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where did you go then? So you are Horn of Africa guest services, guest services, guest services, guest services, and guest services. And we'll promote you all later. Get out there and man these shops. I don't like the fact that those shops are empty. Then, let's wander over here. Let's build our bathrooms. Egyptian fruit bat is up to 2. That means we should be able to turn on some enrichment items for you in here. Layout. No, never mind. I guess that's only at 1, 3, and 5. So facilities, bathrooms. Toilet block. I think I might want to base it off of you. No, your grid does not overlap in a way that I want it to. So instead, we're going to have to line this height up manually. So you're going to slide to about like this, it looks like. Maybe one more tick. About like that. Pull you back here. And we're going to go bathroom, empty space, bathroom. It'll just be a little bit of like implied size. These need to get moved over. You are just gone. And then you also need to get moved over slightly. And then same thing with you. I saw you try to random rotate just now. Don't you dare. You go here. You get out. You go here. These, we want to have concrete gridded, which would be a 4 meter. Here. Well, maybe not necessarily going all the way up the top. But definitely 4 meter, like... Oh, you want... Oh... No, this should be fine. Here. Here, here, here. Here, and then I guess like here, just to demarcate that it exists. Close out of that. Change all these to white. Pure white, like blinding white. And then give me 1 meter concrete walls on top of that. Yeah. Here, here, here. Here, but then not here. We'll leave the front a little shorter. Then we grab one of these guys. We duplicate you. Here we actually do want the angle snap. We're going to pull you so that you line up with this wall. We're going to raise you up to about here. That, surprisingly, is almost perfectly flush, which is great. I'm a little annoyed by the curb poking through, but I think I can overlook it. And then you, hold on 2 seconds. Here you also look pretty close to lined up, so we're going to do the same thing. Rotate you around. Line you up about here. Line you up about here. And then just lift you so that you're flush. And then you, we're going to duplicate and just slide back. Don't know what my plan is for that yet, but we'll figure it out. You, excuse me. Thank you. We'll make it a box for now. It will probably end up being some kind of planter, if I had to guess. But we'll just earmark that for later. And then you already have a shell built. That's great. What do we want you to look like? Because we're moving into the next area of the zoo here. So what do we want the aesthetic to be for Dry Savannah Trails? I don't hate the way that the log wall looks. I'd like to select this, yeah, there you go. I do hate that it clips with the concrete wall, though. I think that's pretty unfortunate. But I could just bump it out. No, you can't, because the concrete is gridded. Oh, that's a good point. What about plaster? Because plaster should be thinner than concrete, right? Is that true for the grid piece? Not true for the grid piece, but it is true for the non-grid piece. Save yourself the work. Save yourself the work. Make it out of concrete. Take the boring solution. And then you're going to have to change that color. Otherwise, it's going to keep flickering like that. Also, do you want to have this building have like a little bit of implied size? So take these, move them back one, put this guy down. There you go. And then change all these to white. Okay. Hideous flickering resolved. And also, it doesn't look terrible. Like, white concrete does have a nice, you know, fresh and clean look to it. That said, we should make the roof a different color so that it's not pure blinding white everywhere. We really don't have a lot of roof options. I guess we can do an asphalt roof. Nice perk of asphalt roofs. No hideous trim to deal with. And then log wall. So this building needs trim, obviously. I really like the way that the sunshades came out, but I don't know that I'm just going to reuse sunshades again. I might just do paint beam. Old reliable. Do not random rotate. So you come to here. I want you to poke out past the wall a bit. It's fairly even on all sides. Sink it. So you go here. You go here. Maybe come out a little bit more. You come out to here. A little bit more. You come out to here. And then you can go here, and you're just going to have to eyeball these to figure out where the shop starts and ends. Here and here. Give me a very thin plank. Thin painted plank. This is going to be our roof trim. Just to mask the gap a little bit. Should probably change the color of all this stuff if you're just going to copy paste it, because you'll have to go back and select it later. That's a good point. There you go. Much better. Alright, now you can keep working on this. You to here, and you to here, and you to here, and you to here. I want some trim on the base of this thing as well. So let's stick that in. It'll just help give it a little bit of dimensionality, I think. Make it look a bit more like a structure. And then we'll do the same thing up at the top to hide that join. And to hide this join. You guys are going to come around the back of the building. Sit right about there. And then we'll just fill in some of these gaps. Excuse you. You can let the game run for this as well. There you go. And then, just like on the other one, you swing around to here. I need my 90-degree rotation for you. Now we can get rid of the 90 rotation. You're gonna come to about here. Protesters have arrived. Wow. Who's shy? Who's shy and feeling stressed? Who did I leave in the trade center? Okay, you come to here. I'll be with you in a second. Hold on. You've come at a bad time. Grab this frame. Slide it over here. Wow, did you get that accurately without even looking at it? More or less, yeah. Alright, protesters. Why? Who is protesting and why? Donkeys are fighting because they're overcrowded? Really? No, they're not. They're fine. Social. Social group is balanced. Actually, 68 is pretty bad for your social group. What's the problem here exactly? How big is a donkey social group? Totally only 1 to 6? Holy cow, hold on. Never mind. Donkey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you have too many donkeys. I think Iogen needs to go. One. I think Iogen and Joseph need to go. There. That should take care of that. Is that who was getting protested against? Where are the protesters at? There you are. Who are you here to complain about? You're here to complain about an animal that doesn't know how to use its own shelter. Yeah. Stress, whatever. I have so little control over that. The Adaxes, at some level, need to figure out that they can just go and hide somewhere. Okay, so shop almost done. Get a couple awnings in. No, that's construction. Construction, architecture, awnings. I think I'm fine just using African shop canopies here. I do want to change the height up a little bit on the middle one. For some visual interest. And then what are you? You're Gulpy, and then you're Bernie's Bakes. Just go and grab the sign from somewhere else. You know you've built it before. You're right. Is one of these guys? Yeah, one of these guys will do. Duplicate. Raise it up. Hide it inside this wall. And then obviously it's not Chief Beef, it's Bernie's Bakes. Bernie. Too big. There it is. Duplicate you. Rotate you 90. Rotate you 90. Slide you over until it looks like you connect. You want to maybe duplicate it, put it on the other side too? Yeah, you could. Something like that. Wait, you didn't take the rest of the signs. Hold on. There you go. And then spin this one 180. So that they look different. Okay. That's your signage. So the last thing we're gonna do, because I'm looking at the amount of time that I've been recording, we're at 1 hour and 40 minutes, and also I was planning on streaming at 7. We're gonna throw up a quick frame on these bathrooms, and then we're gonna be done. And next time we'll start in on on Dry Savannah Trails. We're just not going to have enough time for it this time, unfortunately. So grab me this piece of 4 meter. Who cares? Like, honestly, I have no control over it. Give me something like that. And then give me something like this. Do you want this to come back out further too? I think you might. Looks a little off, but I think I can work with it. Which means you don't need these interior ones. Yeah, it's going to be exactly the same as that shell, and I guess that's fine. So, grab me log. It's actually going to be nice for making this place look thematic. Log there. Give me asphalt. Vet research is done. I'll be with you in just a second. And then I should be able to just copy and paste this whole thing, because it's exactly the same building shell. So grab all of this. All of this. Some of this, and then everything back here. And then duplicate and advance move it. This should be at an exact 90. So keep your angle snap on. And then you should just need to slide it into place. Something like this. Is it not? Oh my god, it's not an exact 90. No, it'll be okay. I'm joking. We'll work this out. It might be you. And then bring you a little up front. That's looking pretty good. Click build by before it can change. Delete this. I think that's pretty good. I think that's the way that this little rest area is gonna look, honestly. So let's keep time moving, because we are only in June. We could do some quick planning, I think. We could do some real quick planning. Let's see how fast we can go. Avian influenza, done. Rotavirus is active. Somebody get on that. So, Dry Savannah Trails. We are going to have 5 animals. Let me check my notes. We're going to have African savanna elephant, and I will tell you, while I was doing the curbing, I was keeping an eye out for African savanna elephants. I got 3. I got breeding pairs. They were cheap, and I snapped them up. So we've got those taken care of. We're also going to have African crested porcupine, African wild dog, common ostrich, and Dama gazelle, because I actually forgot to put Dama gazelles in the arid Sahara section of the zoo. So here's roughly where those are going to go. The Dama gazelle. Dama gazelle. We have 425 per animal. We can have 3 to 20. I'm going to aim for like 6 and then plan for 4 juveniles. We're looking for 845. Double it because we're going to have scenery. We need about 1,600 cubic meters of space. I'm thinking right here is a great spot for that. It's actually relatively close to where the arid Sahara section is, and it'll make thematic sense for them to be in here. So we're going to go something like this. Bump that in a little bit. You're going to sweep around here and around here. You're going to come down here. And then you're probably going to cut back. We're hoping that's going to be about 800. And we'll stick a gate like over here. We'll have a staff path that connects to that eventually. What's my size? 16? 1672. Perfect. Dama gazelles. And if we need to expand it, we have a lot of space in the back where we can do that. Red Fox up to 3. Did you get new toys? Toy enrichment and food enrichment? Alright, let's go check on our foxes quick. Anybody here? You. Oh, it's Anthony. He's our piebald. Hello, Anthony. It's good to see you. Enrichment. I'm not seeing anything that's new. Other animals discovered them already. So, Dama gazelles here. This is going to be our penguins. We're going to keep that earmarked. This is going to be our elephants. Elephants need an enormous amount of space. African elephant. Elephant? African savanna elephant. So 3 to 15. I think we're going to aim for 1 male, 3 females, and then we'll aim for having like 3 juveniles. 51, 53, and 500 water. I don't think it's practical to build an 11,000 cubic meter habitat. I think most of the space inside is going to be navigable. I'm going to aim for like 8,000. So that's going to go in here. It's going to be a big centerpiece exhibit. This is going to be a staff path that goes back to some staff buildings. Let's get some rough structure in. Stop ankle snapping. You're going to go like back here, over here. You're going to cut around here, and then there's going to be this path that goes down towards other sections of the zoo. So you can come to about here. You're going to run down to about here, and then I don't like how close this path is to the edge of the zoo, so I'm going to cut in about here. And then from here, we'll cut back up. I'm giving up on this path. I don't think that's going to work. How big are you? We're looking for about 8,000. 8348. Perfect. It's gonna be pretty difficult to see some elephants in like parts of this exhibit, but we'll deal with that. African savanna elephants. Third animal is going to be our African crested porcupine. African crest. You only need 310 cubic meters. Let's say we'll have 4 of you. And then we'll have like 3 juveniles. We're looking for 558. So we're looking for an exhibit that's around 1,000 square meters. That could be right here. It could also be right here. Actually, we could give them a big habitat that connects in like... Okay. We need to figure out what to do with the back wall of the bats anyway. How big is this? Staff facilities. Keep her hut large. There's space. I'm going to do African crested porcupine here. So you'll go like this and like this. But then I'm going to have a tunnel. Not like a... It might not actually end up being a tunnel. But they're going to have a way to navigate from the left side to the right side of the exhibit. Actually, this could be ostriches too. Because ostriches need more space than the porcupine does. We'll see. We can figure it out. We can figure it out later. And then you're going to come around here. You're going to come around here. And then you're going to come around through here and connect up there. That may actually end up being ostriches, now that I look at it, and then this could be African crested porcupine. How big are you? 1680. And how much space does an ostrich need? 675, and we could have like 6 of them. We could have like 5 of them. 1088, we'd be aiming for around 2000. That's 1680. That's going to be a little small for an ostrich. However, we could give up on this as a staff area. And we could just run it along like this. We'll think about it. I think for now, we're going to say that you're common ostriches. Through here, this is going to be African crested porcupines, because I know that wild dogs take a lot of space. Like this. Hello? There we go. So you'll come in like here. This is just going to be a little area where we can have a staff path branch off. And then we'll have a gate here. Aiming for about 800, and we've got 1100. So this is African crested porcupines. And then the wild dogs. We want to preserve this path, but then I think... So we'll have this connect. This go away. This is not going to be a path. And I do kind of want to shorten the elephant exhibit up. So we should have like this be a path. Which then frees this up. And then we could have wild dogs back here. I don't know what this is going to be. Alright, let's adjust this barrier ever so slightly. I want to preserve as much space as I can over to the right, because I know that the Kalahari section is going to have some big animals in it. Like the cheetahs are going to need a lot of space, and the black rhino is also going to need a lot of space. So I really don't want to cut into that unless I have to. But now the question is, how much space can I give wild dogs? So we'll have this run all the way along the back. And then you'll cut in like here. We'll roughly follow this path. And then you'll connect here, and we'll have a staff gate on this side. I actually don't like the staff gate being over here for the dominant gazelles. I think it's going to be over here. And then we'll have staff path like that. So they've just got this walk to do. And how big are you? Well, first of all, how much space does the wild dog need? One of them needs like 1100. So I'm going to guess we want a decent sized pack, maybe like 8. They're going to have a couple juveniles. We're aiming for a 4,000 meter habitat for them. 3,380. We can extend it a little further. And then we could slightly reduce the size of the pack that we're aiming for. But I'd like a big pack of dogs. I think that would be neat. So let's bring you up and then maybe like through here. And then let's change the way that this path works. Show me where my hidden barriers are. Thank you. So then this path would come up and around here. And it would join into there or something. How big is that? 48. I can live with 48. So you're going to be African wild dog. And that's roughly what we're aiming for. So we're going to save this spot. That's going to be penguins. This is going to be Dry Savannah Trails. I think that's roughly how things are going to look. We might do a little bit of fiddling here and there, but overall, I think that's a pretty decent layout. We have really good centralization of services. There's a little bit of a walk to get down here, but walking down this corridor is not that bad. We might get a little bit of traffic here. We might get a little bit of traffic through here. We might want to think about a way that we could change that up a little bit. Maybe we could just have elephants not be viewable from here. And then the other thing that might alleviate traffic is basically making this a double wide street. Do a little something like that. Or more realistically, something like this. So that there is like an outlet where guests can get away. Caracals are already overcrowded, huh? Really? Yeah, guess so. So let's save the one from Gardenia. Where's the juveniles? It's you two. Actually, what are your genetics like? Really good. And you? Not as good. Okay, you are getting saved. We're going to put you in the trade center. We're going to save you for breeding later. And then... oh, that's animal market, right? Duh. And then I guess we can get rid of you. And then I guess we can get rid of you. And we can get a new female caracal in here for Wikasa. Yeah? Am I losing it? Empty market, no items available? Have I forgotten how to play the game? Souvenir shops 1. I don't have filters on. Alright, I'll do it myself. Caracal. Yeah, game's very confused. Okay. Let's go put our new souvenir shop in at least. Guest facilities. Merchandise. Just a memento is new. Get you in here. Work zones. Add it, and then also add these bathrooms. What are your prices like at just a memento? Yeah, I don't need to touch any of these. Vet research is done. Rotavirus we're working on. Caracal should not still be fighting. Right? They sound like they're mad. Is Planet Zoo okay? Like, you're in the trade center, but I released you. I released both of you, right? Status confused. I don't know if it's my computer or Planet Zoo, but something seems like it's not quite working right now. So I think what we'll probably do, given that it's 7:04 and I was going to go stream, I think as much as I would like to play to the end of the year, I'm gonna stop here. Maybe there is some kind of issue going on with the Planet Zoo servers that is preventing the animal list from loading. I'm not entirely sure. But at any rate, we are now done with Horn of Africa. There's a few extra buildings I'd like to add back in here, get a little bit of extra research going, a little bit of decorating to do for staff areas, but I might do a little bit of that off recording. I might never do it, given that we never really did it over here in the Arid Sahara section of the zoo. Sorry, I'm stun locked by the fact that the animal market doesn't work. So that's where we'll leave it. Next time, assuming that the animal market is working, we will get barriers in for all of our arid Savannah Trail sections. We will start to move some animals in. We will get our guest services up and running, get our staff services up and running, and we will open the next section of the zoo. If you're looking forward to that, do make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can see when the next episode of Empirical Sahara comes out. And if you have any suggestions about what we can do in the upcoming section of the zoo, or you have suggestions for ways that we could go back and redetail some older sections, let me know in the comments as well. I will see you guys around for the next one, but until then, take care, enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you then.